WICR. We're now on Live 365 and Ustream.com. Just search WICR and like us on Facebook. Facebook.com/WICR Iona College Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I am Robert Baez.
And I am Bill Maloney. Rob, it's great to be back here Tuesdays at 1 with you.
Definitely. Here's some good old sports talk, all right? So,
we got a lot to talk about today. NFL season,
yes.
NCAA basketball, Jim Boeheim, and the whole fraternity issue over at Oklahoma.
Well, we're going to put that on hold for a little bit, and we're going to
Amen.
start with some news about the NFL. So we all know, the NFL, they stay in the headlines year round. That's just how they are. They're that big.
They're the boys.
And there's been a lot of recent activity in the free agent market going on, and I'm gonna just read aloud some of the notable ones. Well, you know what? All right, I'm gonna read them out, and then we're gonna discuss them. So, the first one that happened. This isn't really free agency, but the Philadelphia Eagles traded running back LeSean McCoy. Oh. So, Philadelphia Eagles, they traded running back LeSean McCoy to the Bills for linebacker Kiko Alonso.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets traded for wide receiver Brandon Marshall. Dolphins got Ndamukong Suh.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs got Jeremy Maclin. Niners, Darnell Dockett. And, well, you have it right there. So we're going to,
yeah,
and discuss. So let me get your opinion first. What do you think is the most important or the biggest deal here?
Well, Rob, I think that definitely the LeSean McCoy deal stands out to me, and the Brandon Marshall and the Ndamukong Suh deal stands out to me. And I think that right there, when you're looking at the Jets, the Bills, and Dolphins, that's going to be a very competitive AFC East. And, the reigning Super Bowl champions, the Patriots, they're going to have some competition in the AFC East. They're going to have to step up their game in free agency. And it's not just going to be about keeping Darrelle Revis. It's going to be about adding to their roster. And I think that really what it might come down to is what rookie that they sign or they draft come next month really shows up. So I think that the AFC East will have some nice competition, and
it's been a while since they've had competition.
It's been dominated by the Patriots for too long. I'm looking forward to some nice Jets-Dolphins games.
Jets-Patriots games.
Jets-Patriots, Bills in there. The Bills, they showed some promise last year. They got a whole slew of players there, and now you got Rex Ryan coming from the Jets up north. And I think that really, there's going to be a very intense rivalry. And, we've seen the AFC North really have those rivalries, but I think that watch out for the AFC East next year. They might have 3 teams possibly in the playoffs.
Now, I have to listen. And one trade that really jumps out at me, I shouldn't say trade, excuse me. Acquisition that jumps out at me is the Jacksonville Jaguars getting Julius Thomas.
Yeah.
This was a little interesting. This might have something to do with the Peyton Manning factor, but Julius Thomas, he's been one of the most productive tight ends in the NFL for the past couple seasons. Obviously playing with Peyton Manning, but still, he's a very talented tight end. And I found it interesting that he would go to the Jaguars, a team with a quarterback who's unproven at this point. I mean, Blake Bortles has played a season, but we don't know how well he's going to be for the rest of his career. Peyton Manning's already established. So I think this really says a lot about Peyton, and he doesn't have a lot of confidence in Peyton because he's getting up there in age, and his arm strength isn't what it used to be. It's actually, his arm strength has actually gotten worse, especially during this season.
Well, I mean,
also he was one of the reasons why Denver lost that playoff game.
I mean, Rob, even if you look at it, the Broncos and John Elway, they were thinking about getting rid of Peyton Manning after this season. And they were thinking about, just letting him go. And you also have to look at, what they did with Coach Fox out there. They fired him, too.
Yeah, it seems like John Elway's pretty impatient with the team.
But to me, there are a few other things. And, the Bills also acquired Michael Crabtree. So that really stands out. But, one of the players from the Legion of Boom out in Seattle, Byron Maxwell, went over to Philly.
It was pretty much a acquisition, but it was pretty much a trade. Byron Maxwell going to the Seahawks and Kenny Williams going to Seattle.
And also,
Seattle and Byron Maxwell went to Philly.
And Rob, another very interesting thing is that in the NFL, especially the NFL, we see how players at such a young age they're hampered by injuries or just the fatigue of the game. And Patrick Willis, he's just 30, and he's going to retire.
Well, I don't know if it's official yet, but he is planning to retire.
I saw an ESPN headline earlier today that Patrick Willis is set to retire today.
Set to retire, but
and we saw that with Marshawn Lynch. He was thinking about retiring, and he's only 27, 28 years old.
Yeah, I mean, he's not as old as Patrick Willis, and
No, but
Lynch did sign a deal with a contract extension, 2 years.
Exactly.
So that should help. Another trade. One team that's really been active, giveth and taketh away, that's per se, is the Philadelphia Eagles. I just received word. I shouldn't say word, but
no, you received word. Come on.
I just found out that Frank Gore is not going to the Eagles, although we knew about that yesterday. He's actually going to sign with the Colts, and Eagles linebacker Trent Cole is going to follow him, to Indianapolis. And obviously, and Philly, getting rid of Kerry Williams, but getting Byron Maxwell, trading LaShawn McCoy, and also Jeremy Maclin went to the Kansas City Chiefs. He's going to sign with them. Now, here's the thing. None of these deals are going to be official until today at about 4 p.m. But these are pretty much, set in stone. The ink isn't – it's not an ink agreement, but, it's a mutual agreement between most of these players.
Well, I think that, you touched on the Indianapolis Colts, and I think that the Colts are going to be –
another team that's very active.
I think that the Colts are going to have a very steady game with Andrew Luck, and the ground game is going to be good with Frank Cole and Frank Gore, but they decided that they weren't going to bring back Reggie Wayne. After, 12 seasons, I believe?
Yeah, I think it was time for him to go, though. Because, if you think about it, they have a lot of talented receivers. They have Dante Moncrief and T.Y. Hilton. That actually is a very...
No, but Reggie Wayne is just one of those players that he's like the Derek Jeter to that program.
Definitely.
When you let go of that, you let go of part of your tradition, part of who you are. And I think that we saw last season, in the last few seasons, Reggie Wayne is still able to produce.
Yes, but... obviously age is a factor, and also he's digressed a little bit. And interestingly enough, actually, this deal hasn't actually been made. But the Indianapolis Colts are showing interest in Andre Johnson, who was cut by the Indianapolis Colts' arch division rival, Houston Texans.
Yeah.
So if they get Andre Johnson, that will really. Yeah, he's a little bit younger than Reggie Wayne, but he's not exactly the youngest. But
he's not in his prime anymore. But still, when you have players that talented. Even if they're a little bit past their prime, they can still produce. They can still ball out.
Yeah. I think Trent Cole is actually extremely important because one thing the Colts lack really is defense. And
Indeed.
Trent Cole, he will definitely help that.
Indeed.
So that's an important trade. So, any other notable deals? The San Francisco 49ers are pretty active as well in free agency. They got former Ravens wide receiver Torrey Smith, and they got Darnell Dockett, the defensive tackle from Arizona.
If you look at the transactions, it seems like all these people, they're going from one team to their rival.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
All that needs to happen now is that Darrelle Revis needs to come on back home to New York, but
Well, I don't know about that. He might go up to Buffalo and play with the Bills.
Yeah, so we'll see. It's open to decision. But yeah, these are a lot of... The 49ers got guard Mike Iupati. That's actually a really important deal. A little under the radar, but he's actually one of the top guards in the league from Arizona. So Arizona and San Francisco did a little swap there. And, let's talk about this one. This one really just baffles me, to be honest with you. The Cleveland Browns acquired Josh McCown. Now, I'm trying to wonder, what do the Browns expect Josh McCown to really do?
Josh McCown, he really isn't, a standout player. I don't see the point in this.
He had one... I don't want to disrespect... he probably won't hear this, so it doesn't matter. But he had really one miracle season in Chicago, replacing Jay Cutler. Had a terrible season in Tampa. Lost his starting job, and now he's going to Cleveland. I don't know who I should feel bad for more. Should I feel more bad for Josh McCown or Cleveland?
Well, what does that say about the issue with Johnny Manziel over there?
Yeah, and also Brian Hoyer. He's thinking
Brian Hoyer, he's a very talented quarterback, and also Johnny Football.
Very talented might be a little bit of a stretch. I'll say he has.
He's an NFL caliber quarterback.
He's capable.
Yeah,
I'll say that he's capable.
But Johnny Football, with all that hype coming in, and now you got Brian in front of him, and you got Josh McCown right there. I don't know what's gonna happen to Johnny Football, Rob. What do you think?
He's gonna have to claw and scratch his way up back to that starting spot. That's all I'm gonna say.
Johnny Football is not a clawer or a scratcher,
so he might stay down in those trenches.
Yeah.
So we will be taking a break, and we will be right back with Bill and Bob.